Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the video. Today I'm working on the UDR. I've got a few things to do to it. I'm going to be replacing the stock Traxxas connectors with a set of XT90s. I'm going to swap out the stock servo for that Reefs 422. I've got these over here. These finally came in. These are the RC4WD drive rotors and calipers. They're the aluminum Hexes, so they replace the stock plastic Hexes that strip out, from what I remember, fairly quickly on this truck. So these are just a little bit nicer. They've got the aluminum rotors, the aluminum calipers. They're going to look pretty cool. But yeah, just a couple of things, guys, that I want to get out of the way. Still working on replacing all the normal steel screws with the stainless steel. And if you're wondering, guys, about the wheels and tires, when you order the paddles, they just have like a black bead. They're just like a normal rim. They're just a black rim. But obviously, guys, the UDR always comes with that painted kind of fake bead lock. So I ended up just taking a Sharpie to my blue bead and just went over it about 4 different times, kind of did it and then let it dry, did it and let it dry. Now it's kind of got a bit of a, I don't know. It's obviously, guys, not perfect, but I did the same on this tire as well, and at least it just kind of matches. Even though it is a different rim, the paddle comes with a different rim versus the rims that are on the truck, but I just find it looks better when you're back here driving it. You're not going to see, right now, the way it would have been is you would have had the black rim in the back, but then you'd have the black rim with the blue bead in the front, and I thought that would look kind of stupid. So that's the only reason I did that, guys, and the Sharpie was obviously an easy and quick way to do it. First thing, guys, we're going to work on is we're going to get the body off the truck, get the wheels and tires off the truck, and get those Hexes installed. All right, so I've gone ahead, guys, removed the body, obviously got the wheels and tires off, and I just wanted to show you the Hexes, so the calipers and rotors, before I put them on. So obviously, guys, here are the RC4WD drive ones. They still have kind of the 17 millimeter hex, but they've got like the wonky sort of Traxxas pattern kind of going on there. And then you can see here, you've got the red caliper. It's got bare brakes on it. I don't know. I just thought, guys, that looked kind of cool. There's a few different type of kits that you can get. Some of them are really, really cheap off eBay. This one was probably one of the more expensive ones, but I just really like the look. I like the scale with the bare brakes. I just like the look of everything about it, so that's why I grabbed them. But anyways, let's get them on. I went ahead and installed all 4 of the RC4WD drive Hexes. So again, those are the rotors and calipers. They got the little bare brake sticker on there. Actually, I don't even know if that is a sticker. It almost feels like it's right in there. Yeah, I think it is. That's pretty cool. These guys look wicked. I'm not going to lie. You know, there might be better way to spend your money than buying these 4. Traxxas does have the Hexes, the aluminum Hexes to replace the plastic ones. I think they're like 20-something dollars Canadian versus these being a lot more. But I think it's kind of a cool mod. Even though when you get the tires on, you don't see them all that much, but I don't care. I'm one of those guys that, you know, when I get home and I'm cleaning up a truck or I'm working on it, I do like certain parts to just stand out and look cool. And in my opinion, guys, those things look wicked. Seeing the truck with the body off, you know, I said this, guys, in the unboxing, it is such a great looking truck, because even with the body off, you kind of want to run it like this, so you can see where, as you start modding this truck. So let's say you pick up the Vidavon trailing arms, you pick up Vidavon sway bars. Vidavon also, guys, has a part here. It's for the shock mounts. It's like a carbon fiber aluminum thing. It's just going to look really, really cool. You're going to be able to kind of just sit back and be like, man, this thing looks wicked. Because that's what I do. I honestly, guys, look at this truck and I can just see, unfortunately, I kind of see dollar signs rolling in my head, because I'm going, okay, I want that, and I want that, and I want that, and I want that. The UDR is not going to be what the Hammer Ray is. As you guys can see, the Hammer Ray is loaded. I am super happy, guys, that I got this truck. I've been working on it. I just got the aluminum front arms installed the other day. That thing is a beast. But it's a very nice setup, guys. Great ESC, great motor, great servo, all that kind of fun stuff. The UDR will be obviously a lot slower to build. It's going to be one of those things where it'll be a few parts here and there. But what I want to do now is I'm going to flip the truck over, get the belly pan off, all that stuff, get into installing the servo. All right, guys, so as usual, I've gone ahead and removed the bottom cover. I've already got the servo installed. And the one thing I wanted to do from the beginning with this truck was work on the mesh. I found that the truck out of the box, and I have even seen it in other videos, where people talk about the UDR as having almost like a drag brake. So when you're driving around and you let off the throttle, that the truck slows down quicker than, let's say, a normal truck would. I always thought, oh, hey, it's probably the mesh. Traxxas uses that stupid pin system. I'll remove the pin and get the mesh set up properly and we'll be good to go. However, to my surprise, that's not the case. So when I took everything apart, guys, I backed off the screws, removed the pin, slid the motor over, and I probably should have recorded it. Sorry about that. But as soon as I did that, I expected to kind of grab the tire, and as I turn it, it was going to free flow. That was not the case. It's still, I don't know where it is in the truck. You would have to go through and literally, you know, disconnect the drive shaft here, do that, like spend quite a bit of time trying to find it to see where that stiffness comes from. Because usually when you back off a motor, let's say off into your spur, if you had, you know, a vehicle, let's say sitting up on a stand and you spin it, it spins and it spins and spins and spins. That was not the case. And as I stand here now, even though, guys, yes, I have my mesh set again. So I removed the pin. I did back things off a little bit. It is a little bit free flowing. It's better than it was, but it's not night and day. So when you get your UDR and you're thinking, wow, this thing, like it feels like a drag brake. It doesn't roll as good as you would think. It just doesn't. I don't know where in the truck is the issue, but it is not the gear mesh, because I did, guys, back it off a little bit, but it's not night and day. It didn't change it that much. And for me to keep coming out would be, it didn't matter. Like I mentioned, I did, guys, have the motor. I had the screws out and I even had the motor completely off, and I started, you know, spinning the truck like I was holding onto the tires, and it's still just very, very stiff. So just be aware of that when you get your truck. You know what, if you can free it up a little bit, but if you remove the pin and you start to set your gear mesh manually, it's not night and day. Now, another thing I've done is I've started, guys, changing the screws. Pretty much everything I'm working on, or when I'm into an area, if I've removed the screw, I'll put a stainless back in, or if it's just easy kind of screws for me to get to, I'll pull those out and put stainless in. There's obviously a ton of screws on this truck between the cage and just everything going on. So it's not going to be something I'm going to do in like one sitting. As I work on the truck, as I change parts, I'll just grab the stainless steel container, throw a few screws in here while I can, and get things done. Obviously, guys, as you can see, I've got the Reefs 422 in. That went in no problem. Just give yourself, you know, a little bit of slack here in the wire so that when you got to kind of push it down, you got to go over. It's kind of hard to see, but you got to go around a part here. I don't know if I can get you guys in to get you a good enough look, but there's a little part right here that you got to get around. You just want to have some slack so that you're not kind of binding up the wire or anything like that. But we're going to keep going with this. Quickly, guys, one thing I did forget. If you're in here and you're working on your servo, if you bought the stainless steel screw kit, when you're attaching this screw right here, so it goes into, obviously, the servo horn, the screws that come with the stainless steel screw kit, the RC screws kit, it'll be a little bit long. And I had to just basically, like, it would kind of come out here and it would almost kind of bottom out to the servo. So just be aware that if you buy this kit and you're doing all this and you notice, hey, you're going through the screws and you can't find that exact length one, it's not in there. So I just quickly, guys, threw it in a vise and I just kind of trimmed it off with a Dremel, and now we're good to go. You can see you can't see the screw here, so it's not going to bottom out on the servo, just so you guys are aware. All right, guys, moving along. I've got the XT90s now on the VXL6S. I had a buddy of mine print out this UDR XT90 mount. Now, it looks good and it holds the connectors. However, when you're plugging the batteries in from the bottom, you will pop these things out. There's a little screw, well, it's kind of like a little grub screw here, and there's one on the other side. And when you're plugging the XT90s in, there's just a lot of force, and this thing doesn't hold tight enough. And with the screw, it doesn't hold tight enough either. So the nice thing is with this, you can kind of reach your hand back here and sort of just kind of put your finger on top of kind of the connector. That way you're not going to pop it through and it'll still stay where it's supposed to. So that was kind of a bit of a bummer, but I was thinking when I was putting it together and I was putting the grub screw on, even then when I was kind of getting this thing in place, I could still feel these moving a little bit. So I had a feeling that I was going to pop one out. And at one point when I was trying to put the battery or plug the battery in, it did pop out. So I just kind of shoved it back down. So again, from now on, I'll just put my hand up in the back, kind of hold on to it, and it'll be good to go. But everything else, guys, I've got the receiver box back together. Everything's plugged in. You can see the new servo wires right there. That's the black one. But what I'm going to do now is I am going to get everything back together, get the body back on. I got to get all the screws for the roll cage and all that kind of stuff back together. And yeah, we'll see the finished result. All right, guys, you can see the lights. You can hear the fan. So yes, I've got everything back in. I've got my battery connected. I worked on a few more of the stainless steel screws, swapping those over and all that kind of fun stuff. You can see them down there. But every time I get to the point where I got to put the body back on the truck, I always have this kind of few minutes where I just leave the body off and I just kind of admire the truck, because this thing just looks sick. And I really think that having those black kind of rings on the tires really adds to it. I actually really like the whole kind of black look that this truck has sort of going on right now, to the point that I don't even think I want to At one point I thought of changing the panels and stuff like that, but I just think it looks really, really good, guys, with the black. Then I might keep it this way, even going with maybe a black alloy rim at some point. I'm not sure, but either way, guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe. And yeah, hopefully I will have this truck out today and there'll be a video coming soon. Anyways, guys, have a great day.